Welcome to Front Row Backstage, the show that takes you behind the velvet ropes of the media world. I'm LCC student Greg Trimmer, and each week we'll explore the stars you see on screen, stage, and radio, and the tech and talent making the magic happen behind it. From unsung heroes to spotlight sensations, we've got the stories you won't hear anywhere else. So grab your popcorn and let's dive in. Welcome, guys. Today we are joined by Ganja Girl, in my opinion, prolific EDM artist that from the Lansing area, here to share about some of her musicianship and where she comes from and what got her started in this industry. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So just to kind of get started, just bring us into a little bit of your, as a musician, your style, your background, what makes you unique. You know, everybody's got a thing. So what, and for those of you that don't know what EDM is, it is electronic dance music. It's like, if you've ever heard of people going to raves or Electric Forest or anything like that, that's the kind of music we're talking about.
For sure. Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. So I started attending shows and festivals when I was like in high school. I loved it so much, kept going throughout college, and it just became like a big part of my life. That's like how I met so many of my best friends now. And so at one point I started hosting my own events, and as a way to like have to pay one less DJ, I was like, okay, I'm gonna learn how to DJ and be the first set, because like I'm not very good, and then like, you know, nobody will really know because it's the beginning, but you know, one less person I gotta pay. So I decided to learn how to DJ, and then because I kind of already had a brand, it just became like
this
what
whole
it is
thing
now. Yeah.
This whole collective, whole amazing thing. That's so cool. So when you mentioned how you kind of just did this at the start so that you could have one less person, and you were kind of like the worst person on the thing, like
by far. Yeah.
What? So just for a little bit of background, guys, I met her, what was it, December?
Yeah.
December, when she was at Electricity, and she opened for Alley Cat. And for those of you that don't know, Alley Cat is a pretty big name. So like, how do you think the journey has gone from, oh, I'm the worst person going first at these small events, to I'm opening at a gigantic rave club in Pontiac for somebody that has a huge name in this industry?
Well, to be honest, I just have a really hard work ethic, so I've put a lot of time and energy into like practicing and building my brand. I've played so many events that are like events that other people would turn down and not want to play, or like events I wasn't getting paid for, a lot of things like that over the years, or like 8-hour gigs where I'm like, oh my gosh,
sweating your butt off by the end, and
I barely even have the music to play for 8 hours at the beginning. And so a lot of things like that, and so it's just like pushed me to get better and like be super comfortable behind the decks. So it gives me like a confidence about it now. So kind of talking about that a little bit, so Alley Cat, she's amazing. What was it like? What was that experience like opening for her in such a big like club atmosphere? I don't know if that was your first time working in like a big club atmosphere like that, but like, what was that experience like? So that was my first time playing at Electricity.
Okay.
Electricity was like one of the first places that I would go to every weekend when I was first getting into the scene, so it felt really full circle to
that's so
be
cool.
Playing there. And then the fact that it was a girl and Alley Cat, it was just like I was just like super grateful.
That's so cool. So what do you think so I know you're super about like women empowerment, and like, you know, you've got this big event called Femtronica that's happening in March. What do you think are like your biggest musical influences? I'm sure there's some amazing musical women out there, but like, what do you think your biggest influences are?
Definitely my biggest influence is Truth and just the whole Deep, Dark, and Dangerous label as a whole.
Yeah.
I love the like grimy bass sounds, and I like to be able to like add in hip hop with it and like turn it up a notch, throw in some like crazy dubstep. So kind of like my take on the Deep, Dark, and Dangerous sound. That's kind of like what I'm going for.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So what was so you talked about you started planning events and then you like learned how to DJ so that you could be the like just first person on there and you had to pay one less DJ. So would you consider like those your first gig, or what, like I guess what was your very first gig as far as like your first time you were DJing for a crowd?
Yeah.
And then what was your first like somebody else is paying you to do something?
So the first time I ever DJ'd in front of a crowd was during like the COVID shutdown time, and we had like done nothing for months, and so a few of our friends were super sad that there was no Electric Forest happening. So we were like, we're gonna have a little mini Electric Forest in the backyard with literally like 15 friends, and like just
literally my wristbands got canceled 2 years in a row and transferred to the next, and I'm like, dude, what is going on right now? I hate this.
It was depressing. So we just kind of like made our own in the backyard, and that was my first time actually DJing for anyone, but it was just like my friends, which was nice because they weren't like boo. They were nice about it. But my first time playing a real gig was actually at the Avenue.
Where is that at?
It's on Michigan Avenue, downtown Lansing.
Okay.
And what one was it? I can't remember what show it was. Oh, actually, it was my friend Nate. He was having like a weekly EDM event there at the time.
That's cool.
And he booked us to play like a Ganja Girl night.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that's feels like a long time ago now.
That's so cool. Yeah, so what does your creative process look like now compared to when you started? You know, when you started, I'm sure it was a lot of like house music and just kind of mixing some things in there. But what is now that I'm sure you're trying to create like your own stuff and sample different things and whatnot, what did your creative process look like when you first started out? And what does it look like now that you're, I'm assuming, trying to create your own stuff?
Now that I've like dialed in the sound that I'm trying to bring to all the people, it definitely makes it a lot easier, I would say, than it was in the beginning, because I was like, I don't know where I'm going with this. But basically, like when I'm getting ready to play a show around here, like a smaller show, I'll just download all the tracks that I've saved recently. Like I'm listening to music all the time.
Yeah.
So I go on like my most recent likes on SoundCloud, literally just download all those, put them onto a playlist. I don't even listen to them, and then I just go and play the new tracks.
Impressive to just go off the cuff like that.
But I definitely could not do that at the beginning. If it's a bigger show though, now I will put more time into it. I just started like very recently making my own visuals so that I can add the visual effect that I want to each song. And
sometimes it's, especially with EDM shows, like if you guys have never been to a rave or any sort of EDM show or anything, like it is not just about the music. Like it is very much a visual experience. There's lasers, there's lights, there's graphics, like it's about everything that goes into the show. It's not just about the music. So having those prepper like graphics and stuff to match what you're doing is huge.
For sure. I feel like that's the next step. In addition to, I have been working on producing my own tracks and remixes, but it's a process.
No, for sure. What is that? You mentioned it's a process. Like, so when you're working on your own, trying to cultivate your own tracks and stuff, which is something sounds like you're kind of just starting to move into a little bit. What gets you into that headspace? What gets you into that creative process? Is it very much like a, hey, I just heard something and I'm trying to, and that inspired me on a whim, or is it like you have like a specific time where you sit down and like you have things that get you into that headspace?
Definitely a little bit of both. I have to kind of force myself to do it because it's like such a learning curve that it's kind of discouraging. Like I hear people making these amazing tracks and I'm like, wow, am I ever going to get to that point? I know I will, but it's kind of just like such a far gap that it's discouraging. So I have to force myself to do it. Sometimes though, I will hear like a new hip hop song. And I'm like, okay, I'm trying to make a remix to this right now. I have to do it. Yeah. So definitely a little bit of both.
Yeah. Just like, and I know you're like, hey, one day I'm going to be there. And I'm like, sometimes you hear those people and you can kind of get down, but just know, like, full transparency, when I came to see Alley Cat at Electricity and I saw your name on there, I had no clue who you were. And I just, full transparency, had like no expectations going into it.
Yeah.
And then like within a song and a half, you kind of had me and my cousin Megan like blown away. So just know that you are good and you are going to get there one day. And like you said, it's about hard work. It's a process, right?
For sure. I appreciate that though.
Yeah. What are so what software do you use? This is like the age old like thing, like every EDM artist is like, or DJ, even if you're just like a wedding DJ, is like, which software do I use? Like it's a big argument.
Yeah. For production, I use Ableton.
Okay.
But just for DJing, mostly Rekordbox.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's what, like, on all the bigger shows that I play at, it's Rekordbox gear. So the more I can practice on Rekordbox, the better. I did start with Serato, which is like pretty similar. I liked that a lot more in the beginning, and so I had to like transition myself to be a Rekordbox girl.
See, when I started doing like wedding DJing and stuff, Jake turned me on to he's like, use either Serato or Rekordbox. Mm-hmm. And I tried downloading Serato and I just could not figure out how to use it. Like it seemed just like it didn't seem very user intuitive. So then I downloaded Rekordbox and I love Rekordbox.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you lean more towards? Like heavy bass, melodic, experimental? Sometimes I like to call certain types of EDM sad boy EDM. But
I'm like, not really into the sad boy too much.
It's a little weird. I don't understand it, but
to each their own. But for me, I'm mostly like, the heavier dubstep and like deep dub, which is kind of more chill, experimental, wavy, if you will. But people like to describe my music like that it sounds kind of angry, and I think that's a good way to describe it.
That's a good thing. I am very into like the heavier side of EDM, so angry is a good thing in my book.
You gotta get it out somewhere. So
right?
If you can do it in a peaceful way, just dancing, like there's no better way.
So what kind of gear do you personally use most of the time, and what is like your favorite gear?
Honestly, I use whatever. I just show up and plug in my USB. I usually don't even ask what's the gear. I just show up. But my favorite is definitely like CDJ 3000s, I would say. Yeah.
What do you personally own? I assume you personally own equipment?
No.
No, you just okay.
I
Well,
don't actually. I
wow.
know, it's very surprising.
I mean, I don't either. I just borrowed Jake's equipment.
Yeah. I want to get CDJs, but I mean that's thousands of dollars. So someday.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think? I mean, you've kind of been on the rise and been rising. Like, what do you think in this process? What do you think the challenges have been of standing out in the EDM scene?
Oof, definitely like being a woman and working in an industry where like most of the organizers and promoters are men.
Yeah.
And yeah, just like trying to weed through all the people and find out like who's genuine and who's just not.
Yeah. I love that because I think this industry needs more successful women, and so the more that we flood it with that, the better.
Yeah. I agree. So that's what we're trying to do with our events, flood the scene with just all women DJs and performers.
For sure. Have you had any crazy fun or crazy or funny show experiences?
Yeah, absolutely. Crazy. One time, my phone got stolen out of the green room. That sucked.
No.
When I was up there performing.
That sucks.
Yeah.
What a bunch of douchebags.
That's like not a good one, but there's good things too. A lot of good things. One thing that always surprises me is like when I do play a show that's bigger, like that Alley Cat one at Electricity, or I played the big gigantic show here in Lansing at Graywell Hall. That was like their opening weekend. There's always like a couple people in the crowd. They're like, "Oh my God, you're her," when they see me and they want to take a picture, and I'm like so confused because I'm like, what? Oh yeah, I was the DJ up there, but it's just like so like nice and sweet and wholesome. It's surprising to me. I guess so. Like the fact that people come up and they're like, "Oh my gosh, it's you." I'm like, it's just unexpected, and that's like.
I was gonna say I respect like the fact that you like at Alley Cat specifically, the fact that you like came out into the crowd afterwards to just like rave with everybody, like was so cool. I respected that a lot because it keeps like, I think some artists can get a bit of a complex when they're up on that stage, and then they're like, oh, I don't want to be, you know,
yeah,
in the crowd or the masses or whatever. But like, I think it's huge way to stay humble and to like stay connected with your fans and your people by doing that. And I really respect that.
I am a fan first and foremost. So as soon as I come off stage, I'm like, "Where's my friends? Let's get in the crowd." I'm on the rail.
That's so cool. How do you read a crowd and adjust the vibe? That's a huge thing. I think that reading a crowd is so important for a musician. So
honestly, this probably isn't a very good answer, but I feel like it just kind of comes naturally, probably because I've been in the crowd so many times.
Yeah.
Like I was just saying, I can kind of feel when I need to like chill it down or turn it up. And yeah, I don't really think about it too much.
That's super cool. Well, we're running a little bit low on time. But one last pretty important question, because I know you're big on this. What are your thoughts on being a woman in the EDM world? And what are some of the challenges you've experienced in that? And what are some of the like huge wins that you've experienced in that?
Definitely the biggest win is just meeting all the people and like the support from everyone, like throughout so many different communities, not just the EDM community, but like the cannabis community too. They're like so supportive.
Yeah.
And that like is just, I never could have even expected that to happen, honestly. Some of like the hard parts, like I said earlier, definitely like the people that you have to work with to get there, and like trying to decide. There's been like one time where I did have to pull out of a gig because of the promoter. So things like that.
What are your just like so I've talked a little bit about your passions with that, but just talk a little bit about what is your passion as far as like females in the EDM industry, and what is kind of your mission there, and what do you want, what do you hope to see one day, and what are you doing now to try to achieve that?
Yeah, so sometimes with women, I feel like there can be like a competitive vibe. I just don't feel that. I want to be like collaborative with everyone and be friends with everyone, because I feel like the more we work together, the bigger force we can be. So definitely my passion is bringing together all the like-minded ladies who want to just like blow it up and be amazing DJs and work together and support each other and like put each other on. That's what we're doing with our event, Femtronica. That is like,
I've noticed you've been posting all about it. There's been like some huge, just like, you're bringing people from all over and like so many different things, flow dancers and different things like that. It's been really cool to see as you're releasing some of the plans for that out on Instagram.
So that is definitely my passion. Having this event has been a dream for us, for like our team, for like years. Honestly, the whole time. This is our 3rd year doing the event. We've had it the past 2 years. It was just called International Women's Day Celebration. At the Avenue, and then this year we've made it into a 2-day festival called Femtronica. Ideally, we would like to make it bigger, take it around, and like do it every year.
That's so cool. I love that so much. So before we end, just a couple quick fire rapid questions. Favorite festival?
Electric Forest.
Okay. Yeah. Fair. Personally, mine is Lost Lands.
Okay, yeah.
Dinosaurs are cool, man.
That's fair.
What is your go-to hype track?
Ooh, good question. Right now it's 200 on the Dash by Daily Bread. Okay. Yeah.
That's so cool. All right. So just like we said, she's got Femtronica. That's happening in March of this year. Where can people follow you?
My website is ganjagirlmi4michigan.com.
Okay.
Yeah. All my information is there.
And then Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff, right?
Yeah, that's all on my website. Okay. Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, thank you guys for joining today, and thank you for joining us to talk about your amazing journey as a musician in the EDM industry. And as always, tune in for more information, guys. Thanks. Thanks for tuning in to Front Row Backstage. We hope you enjoyed this week behind the curtains of the media world. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram for more information. And join us next week for more stories from the front lines of entertainment. Until then, stay tuned, because whether it's on stage, behind the scenes, or over the airwaves, the real action is everywhere.